Hello, Retire Rome family. How you guys doing today? I hope you guys are doing great. Now, today is the first day of the new month, right? And I like to kind of talk about how much money we generated in my portfolio for last month. Now, this is not going to be completely about that portfolio. We're just going to kind of talk about that briefly, and then we're going to go to talk about other things that's more interesting. Okay, guys? So, you're like, what is interesting else that you're going to talk about other than making money, Edwin? Of course, making money is good because money making is, how do I say it? I say money is a tool, right? It's a tool to get you from point A to point B, like a car, right? But the more money you have, you can choose a better car, a more luxurious car, or a more sporty car based on the amount of money you have, right? So you can have $1,000 a month, and you're like, you know what? I want to buy a $5,000 a month car because you cannot afford it. So that's just an analogy. So I hope you guys will be like, oh, Edwin always talking about money. Yeah, money rules the world, right? So, I mean, it's important. You need it. If you want to retire in Rome and go everywhere else in the world, guess what you need? You need money. Okay, guys? And another thing, guys, we have 988 subscribers, okay? We almost at 1,000 sub, so I can get this channel monetized, right? So every time I post a video on here, you know, I can make a couple of pennies from posting videos on here. Okay, now if you want to live outside of the US, you will live in Portugal, Germany, Philippines, Colombia, Dominican Republic. If you want to live in any of those places, guess what you're going to need? You're going to need income. Right? And if you don't have a job, if you don't have a remote job that allows you to work from anywhere else in the world, guess what do you need? You need dividend income. Dividend income will replace your 9 to 5. Now, if you guys know, if you're moving somewhere else to live because you want a better life, because you want to build a family, you know, outside of the U.S., it doesn't cost as much to live outside the U.S. Now, if you're going just to go have fun and meet women, no, that's different. It's going to be a little bit more expensive because you're not going to be living there. But if you're living there every day, believe me, guys, that lifestyle, you see, you see all the beautiful women, blah, 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 all that stuff. After a while, you get tired of that, right? You just want to find one good one. Maybe 2 good ones, or 3 good ones, or 4 good ones that can make you happy, that can please you to the point where you're like, you know, I don't need to have 100 different women and cost more money. Okay, and I'm not pushing that either. That's just up to you. I'm just putting that in there so you can know, hey, it's available. Yes, it's available to you living outside the U.S., having 20, 30 girlfriends. And yes, it's easier to say, you know what? I do have other girlfriends. It's just that simple. Just like you would tell a woman in the U.S., look, I'm seeing other people. It's the same way you would tell a woman anywhere else in the world that you see other people. It's up to them to accept it or not to accept it. You never want to go into a situation where you say, you know what, yes, you are the only one. Because when they find out they're not the only one, believe me, this just as ruthless like the women in America. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, so as you plan your retirement, the first thing you need, the very first thing you need is a consistent income. What's the word I want to say? A consistent income that is not, how do I say, that does not fluctuate, that is consistent. So let's say if you need $2,500 or $3,000 a month, right? I would say when your portfolio starts generating $5,000 a month, then you are ready. Usually I said 3 times your portfolio, but if you need to leave early, if your portfolio is generating $5,000 a month and you only need $2,500 a month. And guys, the longer you live in these places, the more you can fine tune your portfolio, right? So let's say if you take a vacation, if it's vacation time, you got a month vacation, a 3 weeks vacation, you want to take your vacation time and spend your entire vacation in the place that you plan on retiring. Because you just don't want to get up and go somewhere and say, you know what, this is where I want to retire. And then when you get there, you realize like, oh, this is not what I want, right? This is not for me, right? So even if you're going to take sick time plus your vacation time or whatever you need to do so you can stay longer, then you got to work it out. If you're going to take a month off of work or 2 months off of work, you know, whatever you got to do to spend time in the place that you want to retire at, right? Because once you leave your job and move outside the U.S., if your job is not remote, that job is gone anyway. Okay, so you need to have your steady dividend income coming in, right? That way you don't really have to worry about a job. You can always find a remote job. I don't know how difficult it's going to be to find a remote job based on your qualifications. I have no idea. That depends on you. Do your own research, find that information out, how you're going to do this. But for me, instead of me worrying about a job, my goal was $24,000 a year to move to Colombia. That's it. I figured $2,000 a month was going to be more than enough for me, right? And that was just me. But after I got to Colombia and spent more time in Colombia, I have a kid in Colombia who's a U.S. citizen and a Colombian citizen. Okay, her mom have other children that we all live together in the same house. And I realized like, I don't need more than $1,500 a month to live in Colombia and be comfortable. Live in a decent apartment, right? That I pay less than $400 a month for, right? Other than the apartment and food, the next expensive thing is electricity. Because of course I gotta have my air conditioner on at night so I can sleep comfortably. Because where I live is freaking hot all the time. Okay, it's humid. It's very humid weather. Okay, it's good for the old bones and stuff, but it's hot and I love it there. Small city, not big, with a lot of people. It's not a touristy city, so you're not gonna find a bunch of tourists running around. You know, those kind of places. So you can be yourself. You can be comfortable. Right? You don't have to worry about the stuff you worry about if you're in Cartagena, Colombia, or Sosua, DR. You don't have to worry about those things. Okay? You just go and be yourself, and nobody even know who you are. They don't care. But if you want to live in the touristy place with all of the other extra curriculum activities, then of course it's going to cost you maybe twice as much. Right? If you need to get a place in Cartagena, it's not going to be, if it's in the touristy area, you'd be lucky to find a place for $1,000 a month. You'd be lucky to find a place for $1,000 a month. I know my boy rent his apartment for $1,500 a month. And his apartment is 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. Well, actually, no, 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath. Because one of the smaller bedroom he used as an office. Okay, and it's very small, so it could be, it's good size for an office. Okay, and that's what he rent his spot up for on a month-to-month basis. And you're responsible for the utilities. So with the utilities, you right at $2,000 a month, because you're gonna be running the AC, and that AC gonna be about $350, $400 a month if you're running this stuff because it's hot. So you got to consider that based on the lifestyle you want to live. For me, I don't like all this other activities. I have girls, so of course I don't want them around all the craziness in Cartagena or if in Sosua. No, I don't want them around that, right? So I live 4 hours away from Bogota by car in Villavicencio, a little small town, about 500,000 people, if that. You know, I might be exaggerating the numbers, maybe a half of that. Right? And it's like I say, there's people go there to visit their families and stuff like that. It's a family place where, like I said, I feel comfortable there because I've been there for over 7 years, compared more than I feel comfortable in Cartagena, Colombia. Barranquilla, I like Barranquilla, but it's still too close to Cartagena. because I want to be far away from it. So I don't have to say, you know, I'm going to jump in the car and go to Cartagena for a few days, or just go for the day. It's like 2-hour drive from where I will be living. Hour and a half drive from where I'll be living if I was in Barranquilla. So it's still too close, you know. But guys, you got to think about yourself, right? What you want to live, what you want to do, the kind of life you want to live. Do you want to be in a relationship? Do you want to be single? And believe it or not, if you are in a relationship, a serious relationship, I think it's better, because you don't get to spend as much money than you would if you was, you know, having a bunch of different women come around. But you know, you got to get that out of your system. So when you come first, before you move here, when you come first, by the time you move here, if you haven't gotten it out of your system, then you got some other issues, because after a while you get tired of doing that. You just want to be with somebody serious, and focus on that longevity, right? Having a good life and living stress-free. Because like I say, if you're generating $5,000 a month and you're spending $2,000 a month, for where I live, you're spending too much. Okay, for me, I don't like to rent. I like to buy, right? And once I figure out, yes, this place is for me, I decide to buy a property there. Just like I bought a property in Cartagena that is rented. I'm in an Airbnb right now. My property is rented. The guy don't check out for another day or so. So once you check out, we're gonna get the place cleaned out, and then I'm gonna go to my spot, and I'm gonna be there until I get ready to leave, before I put it back on Airbnb. But at this point, you know, I sit there like, my portfolio only generating, my rental portfolio, my Airbnb that I have here, it's only generating maybe about $18,000 a year, right? For what I have in that portfolio, when I say portfolio, I'm talking about my rental, right? For what I have in that rental, that money can generate me maybe 3 or 4 times, you know, maybe 3 or 4 times that a year. So instead of me just making 20 grand a year, I can make maybe 10 grand a month, right? From that $200,000. That's in a safer portfolio, or I can put that in JEP and JEPQ, and I will still generate $24,000, $25,000 a month. But the difference is, I won't have to deal with nobody because that money is generated. I still got to pay taxes on it. I got to pay employees. I got to pay light, water, gas. So by the time it's said and done, I might end up with $8,000, right? And that's gonna come with repairs and all that stuff. I don't have to deal with none of that with my dividend portfolio. I just collect my cash, reinvest it, pay taxes on what I need to pay taxes on, and keep it moving. And the way I set up, because I have businesses that do different things, I don't have to pay much taxes, right? Now, this is not financial advice, guys, okay? I'm just talking about, you know, my stuff and how I build my stuff to get me ready for retirement. I'm 52. I want to retire at 55. I can't get Social Security until I'm being 62, which is early as I can get Social Security. I don't need Social Security, but with my dividend portfolio and collecting the extra $1,000 or $2,000 a month, whatever it's going to be, I have no idea. But I'm on the higher level of income earners, right? So of course I would get the highest amount it's going to pay because I put in that amount in there. It's my money I'm getting back. It's not nobody else's money. It's my money I put in for the last 20 plus years working over that, right? But the last 10 years I've been making over $200,000-$300,000 a year in income. So of course my income is higher, so I'm at the higher spectrum of collecting money from that portfolio. Okay, so that's something completely different than say, oh well, you know, I've been working enough, I'm working a very minimum wage job and I'm going to retire and I'm collecting $500, $600 from Social Security. No, I might be collecting a couple of $1,000s a month. I make fun all the time saying that's going to be my Lambo fund. That's going to be my Lambo fund. But even if I decide not to stay in Colombia, if I'm going to stay in U.S. or Portugal, whatever, if I stay in U.S. and pay up my house, right? I don't have to pay a mortgage, right? And I'm generating $40,000-$50,000 a month, right? I'm working my portfolio up to 60 grand, but even if I'm generating 30 grand a month, that's still a lot of money if I don't have to pay for a mortgage. Because that's what, 3-4 grand a month just for mortgage payments. If I don't have to pay for that, I only got to pay for light. That may be $250 for light, right? And that's going to come down based on how much money I put back, because my light bill is the same year round, the way I got it set up. So I can still live a decent life once my house is paid off in the U.S. or anywhere else in the world. Okay, guys, I don't want to make this video long, but before we end the video, let me show you guys my portfolio. So this is from May. Okay, so this is what we got came into the portfolio. The first week we generated what's that, $3,400. Okay, that was week 1 of May. And in week 2 we generated $15,000 in week 2. Okay, now if you guys want to see this stuff, I talk about this in every week in my other channel, the Dividend Passport Bro channel. So if you want to see this by week basis, just look at the video on Saturdays. Is when I talk about how much income we generate every Saturday. I talk about that. And then let me see, what was that? This 1, this 2, 3, we generated almost 10 grand, right? Week 3, week 4, almost 10,000, and then week 5, another 6,000. So if you look at the total amount of money we generated from my less than $1 million portfolio, $44,833.99. Okay, it's a lot of money for a small portfolio. Now, I can live anywhere in the world, anywhere, United States, Great Britain, anywhere in the world, with this kind of money coming into my portfolio every month, right? Even in a week, I can pick any week, right? Even this 3 grand, this $3,400. I can live many countries, right? Europe, outside the United States, with this kind of money. I can live fine in the U.S. with this money, right? I'll have to cut down some expenses and stuff like that, but I can still live in the U.S. with that money. There's a lot of people I know do it. It's tough, but they do it. Okay, so with that said, I'm not going to yap too much. Okay, guys, remember, you have to invest if you need to get what you need to get. Also, guys, I need you guys to subscribe to the channel. I'm going to start trying to make more videos on this channel. It just sometimes my schedule does not allow it, and sometimes I want to do it, but it's just like it doesn't allow it. But today was a perfect time to just kind of throw a little twist in the game. Okay, guys, remember to like and share the content as we're trying to grow this Retire in Rome channel. This is pretty much talking about retirement and all this good stuff and roaming the world. So right now I'm in Colombia this week. Next week I could be somewhere else. Okay, guys, I love you guys. Still blessed. Peace.